it's about breaking down the task into small little chunks, I think, and just appreciating that it's something you can do over many, many months. You're not going to fix it today. You can't say, I'm going to improve the sustainability of my website this month and then it's done. It's a little project that you kind of chip away at over time.
Yeah, I think from our experience, well, my experience on the project and going through a content audit, you know, it can sound quite daunting and like quite a big thing, but I think once you get started, I think I was quite surprised that actually it was a relatively straightforward thing. I just, you know, pulling the numbers, pulling the Google Analytics, you could quite easily see, you know, which web pages were, you know, the worst or you know, having the biggest impact. And for us, there was quite a variation in those pages, and then we could see quite quickly what the pattern was and the types of pages that were heavier and using a lot of energy, and even just being able to focus on them, or focusing on a couple with, you know, the most page views in a year. You know, there are ways to quite quickly get started, I think, and I think once you start, it becomes less daunting.
Yeah, I think it is a case of chipping away at those things, and yeah, just moving through them slowly. I think one of the reasons a content audit can be quite daunting is because our websites are sort of, you know, big, huge, sprawling beasts, and we just think, oh my gosh, to go through every single page is going to take me days, weeks. But one thing that's really useful to think about is that if you have one of those websites that has huge amounts of content, maybe you're a website that deals with lots of past events or past resources or projects, or, you know, a blog post or a news section that's been going for years, you don't have to go through every single page. Just pick 5, measure them, and create an average. That's kind of enough to like you say, I think it's more important that you do the act of actually going through and measuring the pages than it is to produce a very detailed scientific document afterwards. Because I think you'll probably agree, Karys, that going through it and measuring all those pages means you just instinctively know now what's going to be heavy and what's not. What I would say to people listening to this is it can feel really daunting, but even just listening to somebody chat about digital sustainability, it is on your radar, and that's a huge start. And I think we can be tempted, I think, in the cultural sector to want everything done now. You know, like everything's moving at such a quick pace. We focus so much on what's happening on stage, and these things, you know, live events, so much energy goes into it and then it ends and then it's on to the next one. We sort of forget that sometimes we can have 2, 3 or 4 year long strategies. And that's okay. It's okay if it's going to take us a couple of years to really embed sustainability into our website and content strategy and all those sorts of things. So I think it's just a case of just start to think about it and start doing those things, like, you know, maybe run a content audit. It can sit there for a couple of weeks and you can come back to it and start to see which are your top pages and things like that.